Mrs. Anusha Agrawal, Research Analyst at Century Company. Thank you for joining us, Mrs. Anusha. First of all, to what extent can we link the dips today in the UAE to what happened in Wall Street?
First of all, thank you so much for having me on the show. Today was an action-packed day for the UAE markets. In the early trading hours, we saw that the UAE markets reacted to the overnight scare in the US markets. What's important here is first to understand what's happening in the US markets, right? In the US markets, we have the US President Donald Trump. He has pressed upon tariff hikes, spending cuts, and even some geopolitical shakeups which have spooked the markets, which have relatively before been pretty strong. So this sentiment has traveled through to the local markets, hitting UAE as well. Even though we saw that the two indices, the DFM index, fell in the early trading hours, so did the Abu Dhabi index. Later, they did bounce back up. What's positive about UAE markets and these two indices is that there are a lot of positive factors going for them. In terms of technicals, even though the Abu Dhabi index broke through the 200-day SMA today, it recovered back. And the DFM index found very good support at the 100-day SMA. So we can say to an extent that the UAE markets, even though are impacted by what's happening all the way in US, in terms of sentiment, and they can be found to be cushioned because the GDP numbers have been strong. In fact, 70% of the GDP today comes from the non-oil sector, which has performed relatively well. To speak in terms of numbers, the first 9 months of 2024, the GDP of UAE did 3.8%. A large contribution comes from the non-oil sector, which did 4.5%. Next year, we're expecting 5 to 6% growth numbers. So all in all, this means that UAE could remain to be resilient and steady.
Then we can say that the UAE markets will not continue in this trend. Let us talk about to what extent now the markets are eligible to be positive in the coming period.
There are a lot of factors involved here. We can speak fundamentally and technically. When we speak technically, of course, we can say that the Dubai market, which is the Dubai Financial General Index, is tending to perform slightly better than the Abu Dhabi index, which has been trading or has broken through all the three SMAs, crucial SMA, key SMAs. Another thing to keep in mind is that on a YTD basis, there are a few stocks which are fundamentally very good and have fallen YTD almost 9 to 11%, which could be good buys. These stocks are such as Salik, Empower, Diva, even DFM. And even though there is uncertainty in the markets as to how long there would be economic distress or fears in US, which could translate to few more trading days that could be seen in the decline, the general fundamental of UAE markets remains to be strong.
Anusha Agrawal, thank you so much for being with us. It was a pleasure hosting you as usual, and hope to see you soon.
Thank you so much for having me.